Christmas is coming, and so too are the festive fixtures for Liverpool. This is the first of 9 games between now and New Year's Day. The Reds arrive here this afternoon looking to maintain their perfect home form this season. Matchday 14 of this Premier League season. It is Liverpool against Fulham and it is a 2 o'clock kickoff. Yeah, very good afternoon to you. Welcome along to Matchday Live. We will also keep you right up to date with the FA Cup third round draw, which is due to take place in the next couple of minutes. But we are in the company of Phil Thompson and Charlie Adam in the mist and the rain here at Anfield. Lots of games, Tomo, coming up, as I just mentioned. Jurgen Klopp says in his programme notes this afternoon, nothing is decided in December. No trophies are handed out. No league positions are determined. But because there are so many games in such a short space of time, you can put yourself in a really good position to attack the rest of the season. Is that how you saw it in your day, that this was the time where the wheat was sorted from the chaff?
Well, it was, and we always used to say about Easter and things like that, but because now with all the European competitions and you're going right the way to the middle of December with the European games, still got another one to go. It is massive, and it's never been any bigger because we have Manchester United, Arsenal coming, but all the games are so important now. You cannot drop back. We're seeing the emergence now of Arsenal. We're seeing the emergence of Spurs, if you want. So, of course, these teams, you've got Newcastle, so it's going to be very tight. So you've got to keep on going, keep on pushing.
Obviously, Charlie, there is the need to keep winning games, but Jurgen Klopp also speaks in those notes about the need to rotate over the coming weeks. And when we look at the fixtures Liverpool have got coming up, there are winnable games. Obviously, the Europa League is done as terms as Liverpool being group winners. There is the chance to use the squad potentially over the next couple of weeks before that United game.
Yeah, and that's what you'll look to do. The aim was to get this Europa League draw done and the group stages early, can rest somebody, so that really counts it. But again, Mo Salah plays in the week, you know, he keeps churning out games. He wants to play football matches, and as a player, that's what you want to do. You train all week, but you want to play games, and the more games that come around, the better. And listen, when you're winning football matches, the games take care of themselves, and this will be another good afternoon. But again, the fixture list will take care of itself. Each game, one game at a time, the old cliche, but you know, 9 games in the space of this Christmas period. I'm glad that I'm retired.
But that's the hard thing though, Charlie, isn't it? The players want to play now. Even modern day, there's also, it's changed now, and so they want to play the football matches, and they're all big and they're all important. But that's where the coach, the manager, the staff have to get together and they have to ease the way through it. And we have used the Europa League really well to give the players a rest, and the League Cup games. So all those things, he's being able to manage the players, and you have to manage their egos as well, because they do want to play.
You're a coach now. What do you do on the training field when the schedule is like this?
Very light, very light. The lads will play today, recover tomorrow, probably even maybe, you know, come out and do a warm-up and a passing drill on Tuesday, and then get ready for Wednesday. But remember, you've got to get the information into the players, you know, Monday, Tuesday. Can't dissect too much of this game, let it worry about what's going on. You get it, you box it off and you move on quickly, because like you say, the game comes every 3 days, but it's rest and recover for the lads. Good food, sleep well, and the lads that don't play will train and be ready for an opportunity when that comes around, because they will all be needed. Jurgen's saying that because he'll be happy with what he's got in his squad, you know.
Tomo, you said that Liverpool had used the Europa League well. Jurgen Klopp at the start of the campaign said, don't expect us to breeze through this group, and there was that wobble away in Toulouse, but at home, as it was on Thursday night, it has been emphatic.
And it has been. It was Anfield, so that's the way it happens. And there was a few early moments against Lask the other night. Fantastic atmosphere, I must say, from their fans. But the performance-wise was excellent. There was some really good performances. Players were tested at certain times, but you're seeing just when we needed it, we could go into overdrive, and you felt if they did get one back, there was players there with goals in them. I thought there was some great performances on such a a night where you would expect it to go very, very sort of easy. Tsimikas there, hitting the crossbar. I thought again he had another good game, which helps his confidence. So I think it was a really good game. Jürgen's used it very, very well.
And an extraordinary statistic, 10 straight home wins, Charlie, but all of them by 2 or more goals. Only the second team in top flight history to ever do that. I'm not sure what Tomo remembers of that Wolves team of 1938-39, but that is extraordinary. And the strikers looking in great nick. And
that's important that goals, Gakpo gets a goal, Salah gets a goal. It's important that these strikers, especially want to score goals. Like that breeds them confidence, and let's say they want to be ready. It's a busy period coming up, and they'll all want to play their part. So Jurgen will know when he changes it. The lads are informed, they're confident, because they're scoring goals in the Europa League, and this squad has been utilised so far really well. And let's say this will be a tough Premier League fixture, as it always is. But you know, the European games, you can't really, be disrespectful to the teams you're playing. All technical good players. It's how on the night the momentum, attitude turns up, and Liverpool do that extremely well, especially at Anfield.
We all get nervous. I get nervous when I see the team. I go, oh, he's taking a risk, Jürgen. But you have to put themselves in his shoes when they're doing that, and that's one thing we've really done well. And people went, oh, you look at the Toulouse game, and I said, yeah, but we weren't complaining about the games before that when Jürgen changed it. You have to give him the respect and that chance to give other players a game. And yes, we should be better. We should have been better on the night to beat Toulouse. It wasn't right on the night, but it's no good complaining.
The thing is, you're not changing it for young kids. You're changing for international players, and that's what the squad is all about. At a top club like this, you have international players sat on the bench not playing, so they need an opportunity as well. And Jurgen has to be fair to his squad, because it's mainly the same team that plays in the Premier League a lot. So when the opportunity comes round to get these international players game time, he's got to give that. And the supporters obviously think, well, it's a little bit of a downgrade, but no, they're international players, they're good players, they're at this football club.
I know it's back in the day, but when they used to go like that and they say, be ready, you don't know when you get the chance. But we didn't rotate then, and so you have to keep your mind on your job, being ready to play. But these boys are getting the chance, and so Jürgen has given them that little bit of a G up and saying, yeah, you will play the Carabao Cup, the Europa League. I will give you games when I see fit. And I think as a player, you can't be much fairer than that.
And the other point would be that this team and the style of play isn't always easy to adapt to straight off the bat. We've seen players have long times out of the team, the likes of Andy Robertson in particular. Someone like Ryan Gravenberch, who was given that opportunity in the Europa League, now looks really quickly comfortable in the Premier League because he's had those games.
Yeah, and that gets you up to speed quickly. The Premier League is a different pace and tempo to the Europa League, and even at times Champions League games. So he's been able to use that Europa League to get him up to speed, get him an opportunity. Kwanzaa getting games as well in Europa League, being able to step into the Premier League and play. So yeah, it's a great exercise if you do no injuries. At the moment they have 3 or 4 injuries, big injuries in terms of key players, but you know they're dealing with, they've adapted to that, and 9 games in the next few weeks is not great, but you know that's where I keep talking about it, when you're at a top club you want to be involved in every competition.
And he knew Gravenberch needed the games, because when you seen him, I don't know whether you noticed, Charlie, in his first couple of games he hit about 60 minutes and he just went woof.
He barely played for Bayern, had he?
Exactly, well that was the exact reason. So, and you couldn't push him, not just because he didn't have the energy to go, but you're talking about these boys having a muscle injury, so you've got to be very, very delicate, and I think Jürgen and the staff have really eased him on. He looks a player.
And the big thing about nowadays is that everything is GPS, it's data monitoring. They're getting a live feed on the bench, fitness coaches understanding, knowing where they're at, high speed intensity runs, how much distance they've covered. They know that, they've got live information, so if they could see that he's peaking or he's going into the red zone, they know when it's time to take him off or when to move him.
He's just baffled me there, by the way.
GPS.
GPS and all, he's in the red zones, and wow.
Just looked tired in the old days, doesn't it? It looks tired, get him off.
Get him in the bath.
Well, we'll see what Jurgen Klopp has done today, who has looked tired between now and Thursday night. As we said, we can expect a lot of changes, I think, over the games to come in the next couple of weeks or so. So let's get details of the Liverpool team to face Fulham here at Anfield this afternoon. It comes from Peter McDowell.
Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome to the tunnel here, where, of course, it's been a punch-perfect start for Liverpool here at Anfield this season. 9 points already better off than at this stage last year, and looking today to get to 31 points before the first week of December is through. There was a raft of changes against Lask in midweek. There's another 6 to tell you about here as well. Thankfully, no new injuries for Jurgen Klopp to pick from, so that rotation that you probably expected to see inside the midfield. Kevin Keller, of course, starting again in goal. 7th game of the season, his best tally in any season gone by for Liverpool as number 2 goalkeeper has been 8, and he will surpass that in the next couple of weeks, of course, as well. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Tsimikas, the 2 fullbacks. Joel Matip, who makes his 150th Premier League appearance for Liverpool here today. Most underrated by so many outside this football club for the achievements that he's had alongside Virgil van Dijk at the heart of their defence, and looking as well, by the way, for a 4th Anfield clean sheet on the spin. Gravenberch, who impressed off the bench against Man City with a deserved place inside that midfield alongside McAllister and Szoboszlai. And of course, now with the problem with Diogo Jota, Jurgen Klopp picking 3 from 4 instead of up from 5 in that striking area. So it's Diaz who gets the nod. Núñez, who made his Liverpool debut against Fulham, you'll remember, and scored in that 2-2 draw. And the much talked about Mo Salah, 300th Liverpool start this today, and of course a goal away now from becoming the 5th player in their history to reach 200 goals. That goal, or whatever goal comes next for Liverpool, would make it 50 for the squad across all competitions already this season. And with Salah's record 17 in 19 at Anfield, might suggest to you that that goal will come today. And then amongst the substitutes of interest there, Harvey Elliott, once Fulham's youngest ever Premier League player, just turned 16, make his 50th appearance against Brentford, of course, here in the game last week. And Gakpo, who might feel slightly hard done by, 2 goals midweek, he is amongst the substitutes as well. And when we talk about Liverpool and the nights that we've had, the days that we've had here at Anfield, they are now just 2 goals away from recording 500 Anfield goals since Jurgen Klopp joined the club as well.
Pete, thank you very much indeed. Before we start picking the bones out of that team that Jurgen Klopp has selected, the FA Cup 3rd round draw has been made. Liverpool will head to the Emirates. Arsenal against Liverpool in the opening weekend of January. Fair to say not ideal, I think we can say.
No, it's not ideal, and telling myself just before we come back on there, it's a massive game. The only thing with it is probably Jurgen will look at it and think, I've got to go heavy with this because of the game and what it demands. Might be 1 or 2 rested, but the majority would have to play because it's high intensity. You know it's going to be. If it had been a 2nd division or a 1st division side, championship side, could have rested a lot more players, because he will, after this tough December, he will probably want to ease a few players out of it.
Interesting though, because Liverpool will play Newcastle on the 1st of January. Then it's the following weekend. They don't play, in theory, the weekend after that because of a break. So they would have 2 weeks between the matches unless they beat West Ham and get themselves to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. So it's not like they're playing a huge amount of games in that space of time. As Thomas said, there is the opportunity to go strong.
Yeah, you can go strong, but one thing you can guarantee is the game will be on TV, which is another good bonus, isn't it? It's a big game. Arsenal are going flying high. Mikel's got them playing well. And that's the FA Cup. It's a special game, a special tournament. Phil's obviously won it a few times, and I was fortunate enough to be in and around it when I was here. It's a special occasion. That's what you look forward to as a player, coming into the 3rd round, knowing who you're going to play. And it's great that, you know, you're a big game, but again, it's in the distant, in the future really. So it's a huge game, and Jurgen will be taking, you know, that game when it comes round, and I think he will go strong because you want to do well.
You get more tickets for it, so we'll fill that end, which will be really, really nice. So of course the people who are going down there will demand a full-strength team.
Well, we will give that game plenty of attention as and when it comes in that opening weekend of January. But let's turn our attention back to the first weekend of December, and here this afternoon, the first Premier League start at Anfield in front of a full crowd for Kevin Keller, but plenty of experience nonetheless. He's played in Cup final at Wembley, so he knows what it's all about.
Well, exactly, and you look at the temperaments of the young lad. I'd look at Kevin, and I look at Jarell. Kwanzaa, and you go, wow, these two young men who come here, they're still only young lads, but they're so composed and playing, and I think Kevin gives that. And as a defender, playing in front of them, you enjoy that. I don't like these people, dare I say it, like Jordan Pickford, who just pick on anybody because somebody's had a shot.
Well, it was interesting you say that. As I was speaking to a former Premier League player in the week about Andre Onana and saying, look, does it affect you as a back four when the guy behind you is a bit all over the place? And look, of course, eventually it filters through. And as you said, Quevin doesn't have that. He has an air of calm about him.
And I think it works all round. When you're there and you're in front, I do not want somebody screaming and shouting. I want somebody to relay information to me, to talk to me. Ray Clements was the best at doing that. And I just think when you're there... Let's move on. Oh, Bruce was a different animal completely. He was absolutely daft. But you come back to it, you just need somebody who's nice and calm, who is there, who's concentrating on the game. You don't want somebody who sort of doesn't say anything, because you have to have that sort of bit of an edge. But I don't like, listen, I played in front of Peter Shilton, one of the greats, but Peter just had me on edge all the time. And I would rather be Kevin Kelleher behind me than Peter Shilton. There you go.
Not that
the one thing you would say, a huge act to follow, we know that Alisson's save percentage in the Premier League this season is excellent. And when Tomo mentions the late, great Ray Clements, one of the things that he would say always stuck with me is, look, you're a Liverpool goalkeeper. You might only have to make one save in a game, but you better make sure you make it.
And that's it. And I think Alisson, obviously, I think he's the best goalkeeper in the world at present. And at one point in the game, Kelleher will have to make a big save. Well, you're hoping not, but like you say, you might have to make one big save that could keep your team in the game or save your team from drawing the match, and that's what you do when you're a top goalkeeper. He's got for a young age, he's got a calmness, he's confident in what he does. He's an international goalkeeper as well, so no, that back four will have trust in him. Jurgen has trust in him, John has trust in him, the goalkeeping coach, and that's why he's at the football club.
He's great with his feet as well, isn't he? He's, because he was an outfield player, it does help, and he's very confident in giving that ball, and I like it because you can say passing the ball, but you have to pass it with a bit of pace on it to give it into somebody's feet, and of course he wouldn't play it out. That's what he wants as an outfield player, so he does that. He can clip a nice ball, and I just think that the boy, it's a shame he doesn't get more games, but this is the most he's played, and there'll be more to come with it.
At the other end of the field, Pete mentioned he rolled off a whole host of stats about Mo Salah. There's about 20 a match usually, but he is one away from joining an incredibly elite club to score 200 goals for Liverpool, of Roger Hunt, Ian Rush, Hodgson and Liddell as well. That is esteemed company for the great man.
It's special, isn't it? And going back to... Not many people doubted him when he first come to the football club from the outside. He had a tough time in Chelsea and in English football. So to then go to Roma and then come here, his record, his attitude to stay fit, his humbleness as well, has been incredible. And we talk about the great players. We talk about you only recognise really when you leave the football club. And he'll be one of the great players of this football club for years to come.
You talked though a little bit earlier on about his desire to play, but we mentioned that Toulouse game that Liverpool lost away from home, where Salah came on at half-time, and someone said to me in the tunnel at the end, just the body language in the first half wasn't right. He comes onto the field and says, I'm not standing for this. I know Liverpool still did lose, but he had that bit about his, as all great players do, say, we're not churning this out for another 45 minutes.
And I think being brought on at half-time in a game, you're brought on for a reason, to change things, because it wasn't good enough in the first half. Yeah, it's happened before, but when you bring on a Mo Salah who's experienced, you do want a good input. It's no good getting, because Jurgen, I'm quite sure, would go absolutely berserk if players come on and just had it off. You get them put on for a reason, to change things, to bring a bit of extra motivation to people, and that's what Mo does in a quiet sort of way. He doesn't go around screaming and shouting at people, but he's give me the ball. I want to make these runs in behind, because at times that's what we say about Nunes. His runs forward, he just keeps running and running, and as a defender you hate it. Mo Salah doing that just brings something different to the game.
If you've been with us for the first part of the show on social media, you are about to leave us, but you can continue watching. Details, if you want to subscribe, liverpoolfc.com/watch. This is where we are for the rest of the afternoon. Full audio commentary of Liverpool against Fulham gets underway at 2 o'clock, and then the Matchday reaction show with interviews from the tunnel and from Jurgen Klopp as well at 4:15. A little bit later on today, you'll be able to see short highlights of this game, 6 o'clock LFC TV and Go as well. The full match will be available on those platforms too at midnight tonight, and then tomorrow on the club's YouTube and Facebook channels you'll be able to see all the behind the scenes access on Inside Anfield. Lots more to come from us, though, between now and kick-off at 2 o'clock. More from the boys. We'll hear from Jurgen Klopp and Cody Gakpo. As we head inside the Reds' dressing room, Liverpool looking to make it 11 straight home wins here this evening and keep the pressure on Arsenal above them at the top of the Premier League.